Good morning, and today this is our third lesson or lesson 3. Now, in lesson 3, we are continuing with Microsoft Word, and after Microsoft Word, we shall look at Microsoft Excel, then PowerPoint, database, and publication. Then we go to another software. Now, this is our third lesson, and we are going to look at the Home tab, the Insert, Design tab, and other features being applied. I'm going to use this as an example, this text as an example. Now the first step, for example, let me highlight this text. I want to use this text. Now after highlighting, you right click, then you click on copy. Now I'm going to create a new file for lesson 3. So sample, this is our blank file of Microsoft Word. Now we are going to paste our information. You can click either on this or Ctrl V, or you can use your mouse and right click, then click on paste. Now we are using this as our sample. Now first of all, we are going to work on the title. When you're working on the title of a document, we go under the Home tab, or we look for different options under the Home tab. Under the Home tab, we find the font, paragraph, styles, editing. Now we want to make this heading as, for example, you can decide, for example, under styles, you can make it a heading or title. For example, let me make it a title. When I press on title, it will become like that. If you want, you can create more, or you can clear formatting. Then after, under the font tab, it's where we find the font style, the size, the different font colors. Let me give it a font color of any choice. Now after giving it a font color, you can underline this word, you highlight, then you go under font, then you underline. Under underline, there are many options like double underline, thick, dotted, and more, depending on your choice. Then after underlining, you can decide to bold. You can bold it and make it italic. You highlight it, you go to italic and make it bold if you want. Then after, we are going to look at the paragraph section. Under the paragraph section, there are many options. First of all, we have the bullets, the numbers. These are the bullets. You can choose any type of bullet you want. These are the numbers. You can choose any numbering library. You can choose any type. For example, you can use letters, etc. Then we have what we call aligning section. This is the aligning section. You can decide to align your, for example, this title, you can decide to put it in the center or align it to the right or left. Now this is where we find alignment. It is under the paragraph section. Then we have line spacing. You highlight this word, then you go to line and paragraph spacing. You can give it any line spacing you want depending on your choice. Then we have borders. You can decide to put any type of border you want on your document. For example, I've selected this one. So this is a type of border. You can decide to edit your borders and shading. You can decide to edit your borders. Maybe you can put top point. The color, you can change the color of your border, for example. And it looks like that. Then under still this, we have shading. You can decide to shade your paragraph depending on what you want, or you can decide to remove the borders and the color, but specifically this is where we find the different options of the paragraph. Then we have the insert tab. Under the insert tab, we find the pages, tables, illustration, comments, headers and footers, drop caps, text. The next session we shall look at tables only, specifically tables and illustrations, pictures, shapes, and headers and footers. But in this session we continue looking at the text. Under the text section, we have date and time, we have signature, you have word art, drop cap. For example, a drop cap, you can use a drop cap when you want to create a large capital letter at the beginning of a paragraph. Maybe it is starting with the same letter or word. You can insert a drop cap. It is under text, under the insert tab. Then when you click on it, you choose the style you want to apply. For example, in margin or dropped in. When you click on dropped in, you go straight to home. If you like to change the color, for example, I change it to that color. Then you can even make it bold depending on your choice. Then still under the insert tab, we find the word art. Now under the word art, you can choose to make any word art style you want. Now for word art, there are two options. There is the one for home, where you highlight your text and it becomes, for example, this one. Now the word art under insert, for example here, it is still the same, but for it to apply it, you have to, for example, have a plain area. For example, let me put this one. You see your text here, then you're typing your text. This one is when you haven't typed your text yet. The first one at the home applies on the text which is applied, and some of you can mix these two things. You mix the one for the insert and you highlighted text, it won't work. For example, this, they're saying the documents are so in many cases under this insert, you want to insert, for example, a title of word art. You can change this one to